If anyone has been keeping up with the whole Obamacare thing, a lot of people already know that there has been some major technical issues with the website. A lot of people aren't able to go on healthcare.gov or healthcare.org or whatever it may be, whatever the fuck the name is. I forgot the name offhand, but that doesn't really matter. The thing that matters is that you have a major governmental website that's supposedly supposed to give people socialized healthcare, which it isn't in the first place, which is one of the reasons why I'm against it. Like, I'm no longer for the centralization of power. I'm no longer for, having the government to have so much power, or even corporations. I'm against corporations. I'm not anti-capitalist, but like my viewpoint is that like capitalism couldn't work. Free, laissez-faire capitalism could not work, and I understand that we don't have that now. And I also understand the point of libertarians making the point that like the government is a bad entity, because in my mind the government's just another corporation. But anyway, what I was gonna say was that this healthcare.gov website is having all these problems, and basically people haven't been able to sign up for healthcare. They've been like going all around with like a chicken with its head cut off, saying, "Oh, where do I fucking go? Where do I fucking go? I need this healthcare. I need this healthcare." A lot of people are just going around. They're like, how am I going to get cheaper healthcare for me and my family? And that's the problem. They go on these websites, and this website that's supposedly hosted by some big database or big back-end servers that are hosted by some cloud service that the government is renting, or they're hosted by the government itself, by a bunch of tech people over in the government, like myself. See my shirt, College of Computing and Informatics. And so why am I bringing this up? Well, people think that this is some big problem, that they think that it's all a mistake and Obama came out, it's all going to be all right. Even the people within my school, that know stuff about technology, and I understand most of the population just uses Facebook or uses Twitter or uses LinkedIn or uses Reddit or some other website, but they don't really understand the whole mechanism behind it. Maybe they understand how to program, which is, good. It gives them an idea of how things work in the back end. But, I pretty much learned that programming and IT are two very separate things. IT has to work with everything in between, basically. Everything that is done behind the scenes, that is what we work on. That's our thing. And when I was working for software engineering, I learned that software engineering is just programming for applications to be used by the IT infrastructure. So, why am I bringing Obamacare up? Why am I saying it's not, why am I saying that this is basically not a mistake? Well, the point is that, number one, it's the United States government. The United States government already has the fucking infrastructure. It already has the money. It already has the resources to hire people who are technically savvy, that are technically inclined, the programmers that program the websites, the back-end server people that make sure that the server's up to date, and the networking people that make sure that the networks are sending the information through to the internet and to every individual that goes on the server. Now, you're having an issue where the servers are crashing because there's too many people going to the server. That already rings alarm bells in my head, because that brings up to mind, like, does the government really know what it's doing, or does it just throw money at random people to, build a website that's supposed to help people get health care, which is, a major thing. So you have, what, a couple million people going on this website every single day trying to get the healthcare site, and then automatically it's glitchy. It's fucking glitchy somewhere. Well, that could be there could be a number of reasons. In IT, it's always, you have to work from the top down or the bottom up. I don't really know what it is. The top down, I guess. I mean, the bottom up. The bottom up, you look at the most broad, and then you narrow it down to the actual problem. But unfortunately, I don't have enough information to provide you with to tell you whether it's a server issue, a network issue, or issue with the programming itself. But literally, this is a problem with the infrastructure. And it's very easy to solve. It's very easy to solve with enough resources, with enough people, with enough, adequate-minded programmers that probably were working on this program for a very long time, ever since Obamacare was initiated in the first place. But, boom! Randomly after 2, 3, 4 weeks of this website being up, maybe even less than that, it crashes. No one's allowed to, do anything on the website. And then it's just a million people, 2 million people visit the website. It sounds like a lot, but really it isn't. You have less established things than the U.S. government getting a lot more views than that. Hits than that. You have Google. Obviously, Google, I guess, would be more established than the U.S. government because it literally almost has endless pockets. And they have very technologically savvy people because Google is meant for technology. That's what their company is. But you look at other companies that are e-commerce businesses, like, Amazon. Amazon gets a lot of traffic. Yet, what do you see? You don't see their servers going down every 2 weeks. You don't see problems with their back end happening randomly throughout throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the months, throughout maybe even the years. Maybe sometimes there's one issue or 2 or 5 different issues throughout the entire year, but that's only if the issue's really big and really hard to accomplish to figure out, how do we fix this? But this is the U.S. government we're talking about. The U.S. government is getting less views, less hits on this website than Amazon would be getting once every 5, 6 hours. You have 1 million people going every day versus 2 million people going every 8 hours on Amazon. Different transactions, different everything. They probably have less resources, depending on, their focus on IT. They probably have a little bit less or at least the same amount of knowledgeable people working in the IT field, working in the programming field over with Amazon. And then you have the U.S. government. And then you have to realize that would be fucking stupid. The U.S. government has enough money, has enough means to contract, to hire IT people, technologically savvy enough to understand basic networking concepts, basic concepts of how to configure a fucking router or a switch or a fucking database center or servers, web application servers, DHCP, DNS. If you're an IT person and if you look into this, if you're just regularly studying your classes and understanding it at least in the least bit and following up with this, you understand that this is complete bullshit. You have Obama coming out saying, Obamacare is more than a website. Well, you implemented a fucking website, and what's happening to it? It's getting bombarded, it's getting blasted, it's getting destroyed because it's too hard? Bullshit! It's too hard. It's too hard to keep a website up for 2 weeks with 1 million views per day, which is nothing. It's too hard. It's too hard to do that. With all the resources that you have, it's too fucking hard to keep a website up. That's really all I have to say. If you don't even understand how to fucking keep up a website, how the fuck are you gonna do this supposedly hard task of ensuring everyone in the United States that wants this? It's not even an opt-in program. They took out the public option, so they basically have entire America on their shoulders, saying like, how am I going to get my fucking insurance if this goddamn website's not working? Like, if the website's not working, what are you going to do? Like, have them all call your number and flood your cell phone lines and flood your landline lines or whatever phones you have, voice over IP? You know, that runs over the internet too. You know that the United States government has all access to what the internet does. Because everything that the internet does had to go through the U.S. government, because guess what? The internet was originally created by the U.S. government. DARPA. That's what it was called. It was DARPA. It was for defense systems. Defense systems and everything that you see. If you're studying networking like I am, you'll understand that every single RTF, which is documentation trying to help out internet engineers or network engineers, whatever you'd like to call them, all of that information has to be approved by the United States government. That includes encryption keys of any sort, algorithms, the RSA algorithm, which uses SSL. You have the keys to get on a router, on a home router, which there's WPA, WPA2, DEP, which was a really old encryption key that lost its way. And you have all of that shit that you have to learn as a network engineer, like if you're going to become one. Besides the shit that they even teach you in school, there's so much more. And that has to all go through the United States government. And you're telling me that the U.S. government is not able to keep up a website for more than 2 weeks. One that gets less traffic than Amazon, one that includes much more money to spend much more resources on keeping one website up, and you're telling me that this is a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's by design. That's it. It's by design. Why would you believe this bullshit? This is pure bullshit. And for all the people out there that are socialists that think somehow this relates to, you know, like how Obama, you know, this was a mistake, but he's really trying to implement socialism. No, unfortunately he's not. Unfortunately, he's a shitbag, and he never had any of our interests at mind. Not the libertarians, not the anarcho-capitalists, not the Republicans, not the conservatives, not the Democrats, not the liberals, not the progressives, not the socialists, not the communists, not anyone. He was always in the pocket of big business, just like everyone else. And that's it. That's it.